Hey, a little earlier today, I hosted this live Q&A on the tough questions that real estate agents are dealing with in today's market. And I wanted to go a little deeper on one of the questions that came up, right? What's up, everybody? It is Monday, the first Monday of July, 2025. And so one of the questions was, in some areas of the market, we are seeing the market shift. We're seeing longer days on market. We're seeing market shift to a little bit more of a buyer's market. How are we then communicating and framing that and adapting our business for sellers in those cases and the advice and counsel? I've shared a number of times, you can look back at some of the prior videos on the ways we aggregate and create reports that we then share, which in fact, obviously is our job. The important distinction that we need to frame this with is how are we positioning that value proposition to a seller to get them to understand the importance of that feedback, right? And also understand that I want to separate myself from value. Now, that being said, I feel super confident between a combination of my experience, connection, and commitment to the community, the amount that I study homes and prices every single day. I feel best positioned to get my clients the best financial outcome. I feel like I can defend and communicate value in a way better than anyone else to prospective buyers and buyers agents. Now, I can get a better financial outcome versus some other agents, but does that mean I control the broad economy and the broad economic picture? No, of course not. I don't control things like what Fed's going to do with rates. I don't control the competitive landscape or what other sellers are doing with their pricing, or if there's new construction in the mix. All of those things are variables that I don't control. What's important to know is I have to communicate that effectively to the seller that I don't control that value. And the way I like to frame it is similarly to if you think of a doctor, right? If a doctor knew that there was something that was not right with a particular patient and they didn't communicate it, they would be negligent and likely be, vulnerable, maybe even go to jail if they didn't do their job, right? So in this case, we have to think about it the same way. We have a duty to communicate the realities of the marketplace to our sellers. Additionally, if you think about a doctor doesn't own a disease, nor do we own the market. A doctor's job is to, effectively counsel and treat and maybe help a patient avoid certain circumstances, but they don't own the actual disease, no differently than we don't own the market or the value on their home. Our job is to be the expert and be the professional and counsel and give the right advice so that together we can make the right decision that's going to get them the outcome they're looking for. That's an important framework when communicating market response. And that's what I want you to think of when you're going into those conversations.